and all over the continent. We all know that we are trying to follow this situation that just happened in the activist community of Uganda, the blogging community of Uganda. In my previous videos, I've spoken about the issue of our comrade, Fred Kajubi Lumbuye, and the amount of support that he has received from the entire diaspora and from Ugandans from all walks of life. This is the breakdown, and my name is Amaya Fazil. So, there's something that has been very interesting to me that I would like to break down for this particular matter. It is how really the media has approached Mr. Lumbuye's kidnap, and how different players or different people in Uganda who are bad-hearted have also approached this particular issue. But for me, what I'm going to concentrate on, and to give people more, encouragement, and to show you that what these people have done to arrest Lumbuye is the worst blunder. Sorry, to kidnap Lumbuye, it is the worst blunder that they are going to regret for the rest of their lives. I've been following news, trying to see how different platforms are covering this kidnap. I've seen VW, that is the German news agency. I've seen the East African, what they have written, and I've also seen what Ugandans in the diaspora are trying to do to secure the release of Mr. Fred Kajubi Lumbuye, the Turkish-based blogger who was kidnapped by Museveni's operatives in conjunction with a few elements within the Turkish government. Now, in the Ugandan media, you will find people, let me bring up my stuff, you'll find people covering Lumbuye, saying that toxic blogger and making all sorts of funny things about him. For example, this newspaper that is owned by Museveni, because Mr. Kalisa is connected to the First Family, blah, 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 blah. That's a long story. They say, toxic blogger, Mr. Lumbuye arrested in Turkey. Now, when you say toxic blogger, we all know people like Tamale Mirundi, they have made statements, but they never call them toxic, which is really interesting. Then you have this other station, how detectives ambushed blogger Lumbuye, blah, 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 and all that crap they are writing, because these are all people that are looking for money and that kind of stuff. I know they are struggling in the current situation that we are in. But away from those upcoming media houses that are looking for the attention of Mr. Sare and Mr. Museveni to give them some money, let's go to the real media houses. Now, this is the East African. It says that Ugandan blogger who killed Museveni on social media arrested in Turkey. Killed in quotes. I find this rather fascinating. Whereas Lumbuye, of course, never announced Museveni's death and all that kind of stuff. But this is just to show how petty and how crazy the current regime is. It has failed to address COVID-19. It has failed to address other issues. But for me, what I take away from this particular article is that the fact that the East African has written about Mr. Fred Kajubi Lumbuye, that is really big. Now, for all those people that are critiquing Mr. Fred, right, Mr. Kajubi, how many of them have appeared in the East African? Now, this is Lumbuye's work of being an activist. And his work of being an activist is being reflected internationally through the East African. It's being reflected through DW Africa. And maybe other platforms will also be covering this particular story. And let me tell you, whenever they are talking about social media in Uganda, when international papers are going to be writing about social media in Uganda and all this kind of stuff, they will always refer to Mr. Kajubi Fred Lumbuye. Actually, Fred is now going to become a symbol of social media clampdown in Uganda. And Fred is going to be an icon that is going to make Museveni look very crazy internationally on being petty on the things that he does, to the extent of actually going after dissidents in the diaspora. We all know the leader who has been going after dissidents in the diaspora. But now we are seeing Museveni's true colors, even after stealing the election. You see, Museveni is not really convinced that really people are settled, that, look here, oh, now we have forgiven you, we have forgotten, you can go back to Museveni, you can go back and do your own things. No, Museveni is aware, and that's why he's going after the people in the diaspora. So when I saw the East African writing about Lumbuye, I realized that, man, now this is way out of our league. Whatever is happening is something now that is happening much faster than even Mr. Kajubi envisaged. Now, the other thing is that I've seen so many people speak in Uganda, the so-called, those people, the Tamari Mirundis. I don't even watch him, but you know them. You know the Tamari Mirundi. Even there are some MPs that have never been written about in the East African. People like Mr. I think he's called, there's that MP of Kampala Central. No, most of you might know him. I think he's Mr. Nsereko. Yeah, he has been attacking Mr. Fred. But the level, of course, these people are not attacking Fred because of the content of what he has been saying. Most people who are against Fred, especially in the mainstream, that is politicians, activists, and all these other people, it is because of the amount of attention that he has in regards to how people follow him. He's the most followed person in Uganda. Like literally, even if the entire Ugandan comedian, only person who can beat Fred now in terms of social media and gaining attraction is only His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. There is no other individual in Uganda who has ever, there is no media house, none, who has ever done a show, even if it is the musicians in Uganda, with the exceptions of Bobby Kyagulanyi, even if it is all the musicians and they come up and they say that they are going to do an online concert, and then Mr. Lumbuye holds a live video, I swear, I guarantee you, Lumbuye will get more people to watch him than people watching the crazy music shows. That is how powerful Mr. Lumbuye is. Now, this is the issue that I'm telling people. That we are having activists as well as members of parliament who have been in parliament for like 15 years, but they have never appeared anywhere on the East African. They have never appeared anywhere on DW. Ugandans have never rose up to even look here. For me, before I condemn before I condemn Lumbuye, I always ask people, if people are fighting for Lumbuye, ask yourself, what have you done for Uganda that people can stand up and fight for you? If you are a mufti, can people really stand up and say that we want our mufti released? If you are a cardinal, if you're a pastor, if you're a bishop, can people really stand up? Why would Muslims, why would people across all walks of lives, people, literally, people from Buganda, people from different tribes, people from different religions, people from women, men, everyone, irrespective of their sexuality, irrespective of their age, irrespective of their tribe, irrespective of their it is just a few people, like 1 or 2, 3, who are just saying that Lumbuye, this Chombere, just 2 people. And what is funny about these people is that no one knows them. No one knows them past Kampala. No one knows them past Masaka. I can guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, Lumbuye is known all over the country. He's discussed within Museveni's cabinet meetings. He's discussed everywhere. That is how powerful this gentleman is as well. So now this is the issue. Most people might think that the kidnap of Lumbuye, or what they would like to say that the arrest of Lumbuye, it is his breakdown. That it is now they have brought him down. They are crazy. Do not ever think by arresting an activist you are bringing him down. By arresting an activist you are elevating him. It has never happened anywhere in the history where an activist is being arrested, deported, or extradited, and he is being brought down. It has never happened. Look at all the activists that were arrested. Nelson Mandela, arrested. What happened? Malcolm X, arrested. What happened? Martin Luther King Jr., arrested. What happened? Every activist that is being arrested, this is a watershed moment in their lives. The kidnap and arrest of Mr. Fred Kajubi, whereas we are praying for him to be released, for us who are blogging, now he's completely out of our league. We are no longer at the same level with him. We are no longer the same level. The East African is referring to him. DW is writing about the same gentleman. But Ugandans we have never stood up as Ugandans in the diaspora to stand and protest for any religious leader. It has never happened. We have never stood up to protest for any politician to be released. We have not done that because the politicians did forsaken us. The religious leaders forgot about us. All these other people, they all forgot about us. And the muntu wa bulijjo, it is the people that we stand up for. And that is why you see the people that people stand up for are those people that you would regard as nobodies in the society. So when you see Lumbuye having this sort of platform, just know that he is now one of us who has been elevated to a completely different level. Because look here, the people like, I think some gentleman called Sisimuka Uganda, he's also out there making those statements. But where has he ever appeared? Past Kampala, who else knows these people? Now, people reading about Mr. Fred all over East Africa, all over Africa, Ugandan blogger. What have you done to change people's lives? Are you consistent in your fight against a dictatorship? Whereas tactics might differ. Yeah, you might fight in a different way, the other person might fight in a different way, but what have you done? Are you consistent? Or are you a person who plays double games? This should serve as a warning to people within various institutions in Uganda. Let me tell you one thing. For me, I come from a tribe called Buganda. But if a mukuru wechika or the leader of a clan or a tribe is being beaten by police or arrested, few people will come out to protest the beating of mukuru wechika, the so-called clan leader or whatever leader. They won't come out. How many Baganda have you seen coming out to protest against the Milo land? It is because Buganda should understand these institutions. They should understand. They should understand. They should recognize. They should work. They should find means on how to work with the people and people who talk to the people as much as they can. The so-called elites, intellectuals, people do not listen. No one is here to protest against the arrest of the so-called Andrew. If Andrew Menda is arrested, no one even cares. These intellectuals who have written books, no one will ever care if they are being arrested. Has to go as a war. It should be interesting, especially if at all I'm in an institution. This is the time to pick lessons and learn that if at all you are a leader of a particular institution. Of course, we all know that if it's a king, people will protest as, that's the level now. But if you're a clan leader and people don't protest, if you're an MP and you're arrested and nothing happens, business is as usual, you know there is something wrong with you as an individual. Now let us carry on, guys. I was looking still. You'll go and read the East African and see what, security agents arrested Lumbuye, blah, blah, blah. Lumbuye had previously announced the Kabaka of Buganda and Ronald Mutebi Lumbuye had also previously announced the Kabaka of Buganda, Ronald Mutebi was dead. Now this is not true. So this is some sort of a misrepresentation. So just after taking the oath of office following Uganda's January election, President Museveni embarked on tasks to stem the spread of coronavirus, blah, blah, blah. Rumor. Chagulanyi supporter took to keep the man they hoped to be president relevant in the public sphere. And the one thing that seemed to rub Museveni the wrong way was the announcement that he had died. A rumor that saturated on social media in June and July this year. Rumor has it that following Museveni's death, Uganda's soldiers were preparing for possible takeover before they announced the president's successors. The rumors continued even when Museveni appeared in public in Manya and Bombo in company of Ruto to launch a biochemical factory. Following Lumbuye's arrest, Ugandan media quoted a security source saying Lumbuye has been tracked for some time and he has been finally arrested. You can't help but laugh at this crazy stuff. Because, Lumbuye never announced the death of Museveni. But now Museveni, Museveni, like it or not, you will die. Whether Lumbuye announces your death or not, you will die. Either way you twist by say, I think it was Moi. No, I think it was Kenyatta. Kenyatta, it was a crime in Kenya to announce the death of Kenyatta at the time when Kenyatta was very old. So that looked like something that really perturbed him for people to start announcing him dead. And you know, at the age of Museveni, when you start saying that Muse, you are dead, even when you are in public and you arrange crowds to see that you are still alive and people are saying you are dead, they are metaphorically saying you are dead. That although you're still breathing and seeing, but your understanding and your mental capacities and everything is already in the grave because you are dead. Look here, ladies and gentlemen. We are living in a Uganda where coronavirus has ravaged through the entire country. And as we speak today, there are no plans. Everything is at standstill. Everything is done haphazardly. There is no clear plan. The only plan that these people have is eating the money and running away. He's there launching anti-terrorism soldiers, whereas people are fighting to even put food on the table. Our children are in the same classes for 3 years now. And what worries Museveni very much is if you announce him dead. Yes, people are saying you're dead because though your body is not yet in the grave, but your minds and everything, your understanding and thinking is already in the grave. And this is really evident by the actions that Museveni is actually doing. So, his arrest comes after Museveni tasked security forces to step up, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. So, that is the stuff. Now, whereas this author of the article says that in order to stay in the public sphere, like whatever, social media, Museveni has never captured social media. Museveni has never been on social media. Actually, speaking about social media, if you go to Museveni's Facebook page, he has never posted anything because he was blocked by Facebook. Museveni, NRM, Muhozi, the first Janet Museveni and all these other people, all those accounts were controlled by a gentleman known as Don Wanyama, who was banned from Facebook. After banning him from Facebook, Facebook never reinstated his powers to whatever run the media platforms, and so Museveni was kicked off, and that's why he also blocked it from Uganda, and yet they are still now using it, which is really funny. So this is really interesting anyway. For me, I found it interesting, the fact that they are writing about Lumbuye. Even if you write about him negatively or whatever, he has really made his mark. Now, we went to, this is DW. DW was quite interesting to me when I saw this. Right now, DW is Africa, right? It says, prominent Ugandan blogger Fred Lumbuye has been arrested. Ugandan authorities today confirmed blah, 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 blah. Ugandan authorities confirmed Lumbuye living in exile in Turkey. However, it is unknown that this time he will do what he will do. It is unknown what he will do after leaving the post. So far, there are no reports of the arrest of blogger Fred Lumbuye at Ugandan embassy in Istanbul, Turkey, except for the statement of the country's foreign minister, blah, 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 blah. In addition, spokesperson for intelligence department said that they had submitted a request to the international police, Interpol, asking them to arrest Fred Lumbuye for alleged wrongdoing of misuse of social media and ICT. Charles Twine. You see, that is the problem with nepotism. When you hire people like Charles Twine, they don't know where their jurisdiction stops. They do not understand international law. And you see, I mean, this guy, I don't even know where he came from. He must have been gotten from those hills of Kabade. They are digging, I mean, in Irish potato plantations. He was cultivating potatoes, and they told him, hey, Twine, Oridotash. Oh, sorry. Twine, how are you? Come here. There is a post. We have created a post for you. In the intelligence department, you are going to become the spokesperson. He has no regard. He has no knowledge about international law. He has no knowledge about the rule of law. But because he was gotten out of a potato plantation in somewhere there in Kabare, he was now brought to speak on behalf of... Now, what sort of intelligence department is this that does not even understand that their allegations are actually politically motivated, and of which Interpol is not supposed to be engaging in any sort of politics in order to extradite or, you know, this guy is even crazy. He doesn't understand that Uganda has no treaty between Uganda. There is no extradition treaty between Uganda and Turkey. unless if they are going to make up one today, and that would be a record that Lumbuye has still set up. For the very first time, Uganda sets up an extradition treaty in order to extradite Lumbuye. That's really fascinating. And I think people like this potato grower should not be speaking on behalf of Lumbuye, because they are not on the same level. Surely the potato grower should find something else to do. Should just go there to Kabale and maybe give him another hope, because that is what this person must have been good for. He can just go plant his potatoes and then send them to Kampala, we buy them, and that would be a better job that he would have done to contribute to the country than rather speaking trash. I don't even know where they get such kind of people who do not understand what they are talking about. Spokesperson said, "We have already filed 4 charges against him, and if he's returned, we will take him to court immediately." Good luck. We are going to see you guys. I mean, for us, we are just seated and we are really going to laugh at you. Charles Twine and the potato grower, those words, they will really dry up on your mouth. According to international police law, they are involved in arresting a suspect after a country's government sends a request through the national court. So far, there are no reports that the Ugandan court order Fred Lumbuye has been arrested. Lumbuye has been arrested for alleged misuse of social media. It is on the basis that NUP, which claims to be Fred Lumbuye's most popular ally, is questioning whether the Turkish government will be complying with international law regarding with the arrest of citizens of certain countries in their country. Blogger Lumbuye, who is also a journalist, has made a name for himself on social media by making statements accusing the Ugandan government, as well as prominent individuals, including the King of Uganda, not the King, the Prime Minister. I think here you got it wrong. It's the Prime Minister of Uganda. So all in all, I think this article was not bad. But then, what is interesting is, not only did Lumbuye make it in the article of DW, but also he made it, DW has been following the story, and today they made their podcast out of Lumbuye. They say on their Facebook page, the news of the arrest of Lumbuye, Fred Kajubi, Elias Lumbuye. This is not Arias. It's not. These 3 are his names. Fred Kajubi Lumbuye. Those are all his names. Lumbuye is not an alias of his. That's his name. The only alias you can say that he has is Chemical Ali. That's what people call him, or they call him. The other one is that people call him Teacher Lumbuye, something like that. But Lumbuye is not his alias. He is Fred Kajubi Lumbuye. He has 3 names. In Turkey, he has sent shockwaves among social media critics in the diaspora. Lumbuye is a critic who uses his social media accounts to criticize government officials in Uganda. Some of his statements are termed by Ugandan security officials as crimes against the state. Ugandans in the diaspora have rallied their colleagues to petition the Turkish government and the United Nations to block any likely extradition of Lumbuye to Uganda. We will be covering this story live on Africa Link. There you go. So they covered this story today on Africa Link today, and that has been the trending story on DW. You can go and listen to that particular story. Now, for me, what is interesting is that they are not talking about these so-called people who are also trying to jive in and throw something out there that, oh, okay, Lumbuye, you deserve to be arrested. DW is not covering that. DW is not saying that such and such a leader of a particular NGO that is awakening Uganda has said that Lumbuye deserved to be arrested. It's not there. They are not covering and saying that a certain member of parliament in Kampala criticized, he was happy that Lumbuye was arrested. It's not there. This is Lumbuye's time. This is Lumbuye's story. And no one is going to be able to come in there, especially those people who are really bad-hearted. This is Lumbuye's moment. It's a watershed moment. For me, I look at it as a watershed moment. Whereas we call for his release. Trust me, if these people dare, in any particular way, take Lumbuye to Uganda and try to charge him, don't you see that the proportions right now it is just going to explode? It is, if Lumbuye is seen in Uganda, or if he is seen in shackles anywhere, even if it is in Turkey, or if it is in Uganda, the entire internet is going to explode. It's going to crack. He's going to be the first person who closes the Facebook. He is. Because right now there's nothing you can speak about on social media, in Ugandan social media, if at all it's not Lumbuye. There are so many issues that we should have been addressing. Milo Land, we won a gold medal. COVID-19 and all these other things, the corruption and all these other things. Ugandans are putting all that aside on social media. Lumbuye. Who can beat that? You can't beat that. And then you find a particular failed MP coming up and saying, oh, Lumbuye, you did this. And then you find someone who has an NGO without a briefcase office of an NGO saying, oh, Lumbuye, you did this. Come on, guys. Now, there are Ugandans in the diaspora that have been protesting. These are Ugandans in London, led by Patricia Sewungu, who were calling for the freeing of Fred Kajubi Lumbuye at the Turkish embassy in London. So if you are an MP, can Ugandans come out and protest at the Ugandan embassy for you? You will be very happy. People like Patricia Sewungu have stood up, and they went very quickly, sought request. They were given permission by the police, the Metropolitan, I think the London Met Police, and people are there. They stood up and went and protested the release of Lumbuye at the Turkish embassy. Trust me, the Turkish are feeling the fire in their backside. It is burning them. Because Museveni thought that they would do these things quietly and then get the guy and then run him away. Trying to steal an elephant in a plastic bag. No, you face it. You face the music. If people see Lumbuye being taken, if they even see him in shackles, trust me, this might even become something very big in Turkey. Someone told me that I'm not pronouncing Turkey the right way. I'm calling it Turkey. I think it's Turkey. Turkey. Like this turkey that we eat, in it. Like the turkey we eat on Thanksgiving, I think. Turkish. Okay, Turkey. Those are Ugandans posting. Have you seen that MP being protested? Any GEOs being no! If you have not reached that level of Ugandans standing up for you on social media as well as on ground, boss, just know that you are in the wrong job. If you are an elite, if you are whatever you are doing in Uganda and people don't feel that you have done enough for them to come out to leave their jobs and work, you are not becoming international, you are in the wrong profession. Look for something else to do. So guys, for me, I was just making a simple analysis of Mr. Fred Lumbuye going international. And that is what we are actually seeing. The different media houses all over the world are now covering Fred. And that is really, this is a really big watershed moment and for Mr. Fred Kajubi Lumbuye. And whatever, maybe he must, let me tell you, I myself have pissed off so many people. I've made so many mistakes while speaking or talking to people in one way or the other. But for the good that Mr. Lumbuye has done, it does not warrant anyone, especially if someone is claiming that they are fighting a dictatorship. You cannot come out and say that you are happy, or you cannot come out and say that, oh yes, Lumbuye deserved to be arrested. I'm not here to address that because the people who are saying that are literally zero. Like those people cannot even, they don't even make up 0.000000001%. Like this is one person here, one person there. People who, don't have any status in society. So, we continue to follow the story, the release of our brother, Comrade Lumbuye, but also as we do understand that this is really something very, very huge, that Lumbuye is no longer now in the category of any blogger that you see out there. Of course, he had already left that category because he is the most followed blogger. He is the most listened to, and he has a very big, wider audience, bigger than any radio, TV station. And that, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, he's one person who does a live video that has 10,000 viewers at a particular time. At any time. So no one beats that. Not even any media house in Uganda. Later on, maybe even in East Africa. It's hard to find a house that can have 5,000 people watching, even if you are having, Anyway, let me stop here, guys, and I hope we shall meet in the next video. Please endeavor to subscribe to the channel, endeavor to follow, as well as share, like the video, comment. Let me know what you think, and then